So a life as a pro punter, I'd imagine, can be quite lonely. You're sort of working from home on your own, dealing with a range of emotions when you're winning and losing. And of course, there's a lot of talk at the moment about mental health on social media. Do you have to look after your mental health? Is it something you're aware of?
Not so much, no. I mean, you'd have to be a very strong character to make it as a professional gambler. You know, you have to be a certain type of person. Because you wouldn't have, if you didn't have belief in what you was doing, if you wasn't winning, you just wouldn't consistently place bets.
What strengths and qualities then as a person do you think you have to be a professional gambler?
As a person? As a person, you need to be very level-headed. I think that's a big help. If you can have balance in what you do, because you know you're going to back loads of losers, so you've got to be able to handle that. It's how you deal with the stress of when it's not going right, when you're backing losers. By the same token, when you're flying and you're winning, you can't think that run's going to last forever. So it's just about having a level head, being balanced, and taking every bet on its merits. You know, as I say, some of the greatest bets I've ever had have been losers. And that Trixie I had last night, those 3 dogs could have got beat. It's still a great bet because I know I was right at those prices. So having that belief in your judgment, having that self-confidence as a person, it's only going to stand you in good stead.
And would I be right in saying that for you, there's an aspect of it that just comes naturally, whether it's an obsession or what, I don't know, but just the natural ability to look at the dogs and see things that maybe other people wouldn't see?
I've always had a knack for backing winners, always had that knack. Just as I've evolved and times have changed, you have to move with the times and just, you know, become more of a professional gambler. I was always a great judge, probably not the best gambler in the world, but a great judge, obsessed with dogs, knew the form inside out. But then, as you make more and more of a living out of it, I've become a stronger gambler, a better gambler, and that's been the biggest difference, really.
It's been a while since you were involved in training greyhounds, but you did have an immense career with some fantastic dogs. For people who are watching this who maybe don't remember, just give us a little run through from start to finish of your career in training greyhounds.
Started training greyhounds with Carly Philpott about 2002, 2003. I remember I bought a dog called Santa Vita, and we gave him to Charlie Lister actually, and he made the Scottish Derby final. Finished second. He was beating a short head in the Scottish Derby final, and around that time we'd got together and we started training dogs together. So he was the first dog, real high quality dog that we had. And shortly after him, bought a dog called Ballymac Cule. And we was only training out of a back garden, mum's back garden, and he made the Derby final, being trained out of a back garden. So we had kind of a good partnership, a knack for getting the best out of dogs. And then we bumped into a guy called Paul Ephraimson, and he just bought a property and wanted us to go and train dogs there. Excuse me. So we expanded, and we went from having 4 or 5 dogs in the back garden and going to Sittingbourne and Rye House on a Sunday to being fully fledged professional trainers, and you know, having dogs like Ballymac Charlie, Ballymac Perez, Ballymac Nillock, so on and so forth. You know, just brilliant dogs.
And then eventually you moved on and you actually owned dogs yourself, and Sam Poots was involved. Barnfield on Air, we have to mention Barnfield on Air, what a star he was. Unfortunately, as we mentioned, he was infertile. I think he would have been a fantastic stud dog, just a champion, one of the fastest dogs we've ever seen. Yeah,
I mean, he broke 4 track records, just an absolute aeroplane. You know, he was a special dog.
You said that you were kind of the brains behind the training, liked figuring out what to do with dogs. What was important? If you were going to train a dog now, what's important in training a greyhound?
I was always a great place for dogs. I knew my dogs inside out. I knew what tracks suited them. So that's where I came in. I was a good planner of dogs. In terms of training them, love, care and attention, giving them the best of everything. can't go wrong. You know, making sure they're fit and well. They'll do the rest.
And having your hands on them, obviously you were gambling at the time, that day-to-day care and knowing them inside out, how much of an edge did that give you when you were gambling?
Yeah, I mean, that's how I first started off betting big, because I'd be buying dogs, and especially when it was in Carly's name, she was an unknown quantity as well. So we was going to tracks with top-class dogs that were so underestimated by the bookmakers, it was a joke. You know, we was getting... There was one occasion I bought a bitch called Darren's Lady in the first round of Romford Puppy Cup. She was 100 to 1 anti-post, and she was 20 to 1 for a heat. And we backed her from 20 to 1 into 2 to 1 in the early days, and she won. She won at 20s, and she made the final. She finished 4th in the final. We got paid out each way at 100 to 1. But, you know, that was a massive edge. So I was buying dogs and placing them in races that, you know, I knew they had great chances, and was making it pay effectively that way. You know, I was betting cash at the track then, going to Walthamstow. Remember, one of the first runners we ever had, I had an 8,002 cash at Walthamstow with TNF, and he won in a maiden. He won first time out. So getting dogs first time out, setting dogs up for touches, that was how I really started.
And that, of course, is about placement. But can you tell, like, when you know your dog, if they're up for it that day or maybe not? Does that make a difference?
As long as they're not giving you any negative vibes, then they're just going to go and do. You know, they're so consistent that you know your dogs. If they don't look well, that's when you know. But in terms of them going out and performing, yeah, they're just so consistent.
Do you still speak to contacts that you have in the sport for tips like that? Do you ever use contacts for tips, or do you just use your own eyes and
not
knowledge?
at all. Yeah, not at all. Like, times have changed a lot. So you know, in terms of, I wouldn't really speak to anybody now in terms of when I'm doing my card and, you know, trying to find bets.
They're coming to you.
That's it. No one comes to me. No one comes to me either. No one comes to me either. I just, you know, I've got a job to do. I've got a living to make, and that's how I make it. So I have to put the work and effort in. You know, I don't ask anybody for anything. I just have to watch my videos and make sure I get it right, make sure I win.
The dog game has changed a lot since you and I first met all those years ago, for better or worse?
Well, for worse, I would guess. I mean, when I started off, like, that were the glory days for me. I mean, I was going to Walthamstow, Wimbledon, I was going racing every night of the week. And the quality of dog then was unbelievable. The quality of trainer was unbelievable as well. Now, it's totally different. You know, you're betting on graded dogs for the most part. So the game has changed a lot, quality-wise. You know, even the tracks as well. I mean, I don't go racing anymore because there's no atmosphere at the track. When I used to go to Walthamstow, I used to love going there. But now, you know, in my area, Crayford, Romford, there's no buzz or atmosphere there.
Do you miss it as it was?
Yeah, absolutely, you would. You know, they were great times. And you can't underestimate the great characters that you bumped into as well. You know, great camaraderie. You go to Walthamstow and the punters knew every dog inside out. They had a strong opinion, you know. And I miss that now, because now it's just a screen. It's me against Betfair, or a few troops in the shop putting bets on, you know, just totally mundane as regards to what it used to be. You know, so the excitement, the buzz, completely gone out of it.